of like when I'm bored or I don't know what to do, of something I can do just because it's like
It's important.
I don't want to be on the device all the time.
Well, it's one of the reasons, right, why I bring coloring with me. Why do I do that? Would I prefer to play Boggle on my phone? Probably, right? But I know what I'll end up doing. I'll just sit there and play Boggle on my phone for 2 hours, which is not as good for me for 50 reasons. Even though it's a word game and it's better than a video game and whatever else, it's not as good for me to sit in color and to be present with people and not tied into my thing. Mm-hmm. I have a time limit on Facebook on my phone that says after 15 minutes, hey, your time limit is up, because you don't know how much time is going by. And different personalities are going to be affected by it in different ways, but that's a whole nother topic, but something to think about. Okay, so for homework in Breadwinner, make sure you read by Wednesday when we get together. You should have read through 14.
So it was 13 and 14.
13 and 14.
Okay.
You know what? I'm actually going to change that.
You just want us to
Finish the book. Let's finish the book, because on Wednesday, I want to be able to talk about the whole thing with you. So finish the book by Wednesday. It's just one more chapter. These chapters are not long. So by Wednesday, finish the book so we can discuss that. Okay, so let's open up our language arts folder now. Remember, we're kind of zipping through this in the end here because I went a little slower on this than I probably should have, but that's okay. It's all my fault. I know. I have nothing else to do. I just sit around.
Yes.
I eat bonbons. That's all I do. Okay. So let's turn to page 119 in your workbook.
First. I got that first.
Yeah. So let's just talk about some things with numbers. This is actually an important thing that I don't think many people get taught, that I want you guys to understand. So in the passage above, Father, get on with the story, Parvana urged, and we're on page 119 in our workbook.
This is the last one.
It is. She had heard it before many times, but she wanted to hear it again. Father grinned again. We must teach this child some patience, he said to Mother. Parvana didn't need to look at her mother. No, she's probably thinking they need to teach her a whole lot more than that. 9 instead of 10. What are they talking about? It says, can you find the numbers in the passage above? Do you know why the author wrote 9 and 10 instead of 9 and 10?
Like digits or words.
Yeah, but where is that? Where's 9 and 10?
I always wonder when to do that.
Well, it's like they gave us the wrong passage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over here. It's on page 150. 115. Yeah.
One what?
115. It's on at the time.
All right, let's go back to 115 then, everybody. Go back to 115.
Yeah, I think they did that.
Actually, yeah, because we already did 113. Okay, go back to 115. I don't know why they did that. It must have just been an error. Where's 9 and 10 still? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so the way this is set up, I'm just going to write myself a note. Refer to page 115, because I think that's an error in the workbook. Okay. All right, so flip back to 115, week 35. Okay, they used 9 and 10. Why did the author write 9 and 10 instead of writing out 9 and 10? When writing numbers, you can spell them out or you can write them with digits. However, I will tell you the general rule, and this is something I want you guys to remember. The general rule is when you have a number under 10, write it out.
Counting 10 or not counting 10?
Usually 1 through 9.
And
okay?
Are we doing page 115?
We're on 115 a second. Okay? So usually you write the number out, which is why it's actually a little tricky, because when you're writing and you start with a number, see, like if you wanted to start a sentence and you wanted to say 1,000 people died, it's a little tricky because you don't often like to start a sentence with a numeral. So sometimes when the word starts the sentence, people will still choose to write it out, or they'll change the order of the sentence so the number doesn't start it. But generally speaking, if you're writing a paper for a teacher, write out the number if it's 0 through 9. If it's after 10 or above, use the number. As you write more and more, and then this is back on 115. Sometimes it's tricky to know which words to use when. here is a list of some commonly misspelled words. These are words that, I'm kind of always trying to talk to you about and teach you. We've done some words.
These on 115.
Those are on 115.
I think we already did 115.
We did not, but that's okay. And then it says, why did the author use the word patience in the second paragraph of the dictation passage? Why did the author use the word patience instead of patience? Now I'm trying to find where that is.
That's on 119. I think they actually
They flipped them around. Okay, so that's what happened. They flipped them around. Okay. So that's what happened. Yeah. And of course, patience is patience, not patience. That's what they're talking about, which is fine. Okay. So let's just go through
119.
Remember on the back of page 116. Everybody look on 116, right? I know this is confusing because it's backwards. Don't forget about using a or an. Okay? You use a if the sound after it is a consonant sound. So
a banana and
no. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. You use
and if it's a vowel.
If it's a vowel. So you would say a banana, an orange, a ripe mango. Now, a little trick with this that some people don't know is if it is a vowel sound. For instance, the word honest. Honest is a vowel sound, but it starts with an H. So what would you use? An. And a lot of times you guys can do this just based on listening because you've spoken and written the language for so long. But for a vowel sound, you usually use an. It is and it's, don't forget that, and if it has an apostrophe, it means it is. So.
I don't know that the letter
on this next part, it's like, it was on its last leg anyway, but if you put an apostrophe, it's like, it is.
Yeah, so that one should be ITS with no apostrophe. Man, they are like losing steam here at the end. Yeah.
They probably meant it is or and it's.
But that would be it's with no apostrophe. Yeah, I think you're right. And then the first one would be it's or it is, either one. So that's what that is about. Lead is challenging. But lead, L-E-A-D, means to lead someone. Okay? So Mr. Penn looked down back at his slowly moving 5th hour gym class as he led, L-E-A-D. Okay?
The other one is, did you eat lead?
Did you eat lead, L-E-D? That's a pretty example.
L-E-A-D is.
I'm sorry, am I doing them backwards?
Lead is.
Did you eat lead for lunch?
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right, Sidge. He led them, L-E-D.
And did you eat lead for lunch?
And lead, what you eat, is L-E-A-D. And I get those two confused a lot. Truly. Okay? And we arrived at the airport later. What would go there? Than, T-H-A-N. We expected. So rather than, T-H-A-N. Rather than walking us to security. My parents hugged us both at the curb and then, T-H-E-N.
So A-A-E?
A-A-E.
I get confused on those.
It's okay.
I don't even know how to do them differently.
Which ones?
Then and then.
There's some different meaning.
There's a different meaning. Then is that one in there? Yeah, it's a little confusing. I honestly just know it in my brain. So, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it right now. Okay, so now flip over to 119 where they've gotten things backwards. Numbers from 1 to 9 are usually written as words. For numbers higher than 9, use digits. And so there's a sample of it. 1, 5, 9, and then 10, 56, 123. However, keep numbers that are being compared in the same style. So for example, if you're going to say the party is scheduled from 8 to 11, guys, if you're going to say the party is scheduled from 8 to 11, don't write E-I-G-H-T and then write the numeral 11. Choose one of the ways and go with it. Does that make sense? For very large numbers, you may use a combination of digits and words. You don't have to write 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 for 1 billion. You can just say 1 billion. You may use words to write large numbers if the number can be written into words. If you need to use more than 2 words, use digits. So you can say 3 million, but you don't want to write out 3,400,223, you don't want to do that. So just use numbers. Is everybody following so far on this? It makes sense. And most of the time your teachers are not going to mark you wrong on something like this. But as an editor, when I took journalism, I had to learn how to do this. Because there is a right way and a wrong way in newspapers. If you plan to, and if Anna was doing the yearbook, there would be a better way and a not as good way when you're doing something like that. If you plan to use a number as the first word in a sentence, and that's what I was just saying, right? Write it out as a word. So 45 minutes later, you write it out. A lot of times instead of doing that, you can change the sentence around and just say, we left for the camp 45 minutes later.
45 minutes later, we left.
When you are comparing 2 sets of numbers, this is the same one as the other one. Write all the numbers the same way. We already talked about that. If you use a number as a compound modifier, use a digit before the hyphen. So for example, if you're 6 foot, 12 foot extension cord, you use a 12 and then a dash. However, if you need to include a number before the compound modifier, write it as a word. So if you're going to use 3 12-foot chords, you write out the number 3 and then 12-foot chords. That's getting really complicated. I'm not worried about you guys memorizing that. Keep in mind that there are some numbers you should always write with digits. And then it gives you a list. Percentages, dollars, decimals, chapters, pages, addresses, right? You wouldn't write out 875 Carpenters or 90 Carpenter Chapel Road. You'd use the numbers. Dates, statistics, things like that. Okay? I'm not going to have you do the page 120.
What about 121?
No. So you are officially done with your workbook.
Yay!
You are officially done with your workbook. Okay, thank you, Isaac, for doing that.
You're so welcome.
I am on Wednesday. Don't get rid of it completely yet, because on Wednesday I am going to talk to you about the grammar section. We're going to go through some of the words in the grammar section, just discussing them. That's it. Okay? So that is done. Page 116 assignment that I said you were going to have to turn in. What is that?
Was that the
Yeah.
prayer?
No, that was something about Chuju's house. Cross that out. I'm not going to have you do that. Turn that in on Wednesday.
Which is that? What is
It says turn in page 116 assignment. You don't have to do that.
Where? I don't even see that.
Sidge, look on the next page.
Here. Oh, this one.
Yes. Okay, we did the discussion of that. We're not doing memory verses. I let those go. Here at the end, turn in paragraph of what your memory verse means to you today. No. Discuss James 1-4 as a group today in class. No. Taking out all of that. And Annabelle, you might not know what we're talking about. They have a more complicated schedule than you, so don't worry about that.
The 2 last thing? I'm sorry, I tried.
All the stuff with the memory verse on the top, I'm not doing it. Just read your Bible. Okay?
Chapter 4 is the one, and we did.
Okay, just hang on a second. On the previous page, we are going to do, how about we do chapter 41 and chapter 42 on Wednesday?
Okay.
How about we do one part now and the other part on Wednesday?
No, it's just
Let's do it on Wednesday. We're going to do it on Wednesday.
And so, lesson 8 worksheet.
Unless you want to get 41 done
No,
today.
let's do it Wednesday. I'm losing.
I mean, I'm willing to, but if we could take a little break.
We could take a break. Why don't we do that? Let's do that. Let's take a break in a second. Not yet, because I want to talk about poetry. Let's take a break, get something to eat, and then let's do 41 and get that done. Okay, we'll just knock that out. And so then on Wednesday, we'll do a little bit of breadwinner. We'll do chapter 42. Okay, I want you to keep studying your vocabulary words. That's the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is that final vocabulary test.
So we never got to the new one. we're still doing the old
I
one.
wanted you to look at your old one again.
Keep looking.
I'm doing the new
Keep
one.
your or yeah, I let Sid
I'm
do the
still
new
doing
one,
Wait,
but everybody
what-
else is doing the old one.
What was my grade? You haven't.
I
given
didn't
me
grade
my
it.
grade yet.
I need to do that.
I think I probably could have
I
passed.
failed, didn't I?
Kari, you did fail.
Kari.
I wasn't gonna say it out loud, Kari.
See, guys, I'm so good at it, I failed.
All right, so let's talk about a real quick thing in our poetry book. Poetry, various uses of poetries, and everybody did a Diamante. Annabelle did one too and sent it to us. Huh?
What?
Yeah, I actually would like to read those. That's a
Okay.
good idea.
Oh,
I'll read them. And Annabelle,
Oh my God, all of that. No, Manny.
no. Yeah, man.
you know what I actually will do? Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Go sit down.
No, I want to.
What are you laughing about, baby?
So we did all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Bagel.
Actually,
We
I
did.
have Annabelle's
I'll try
too, but I don't know if I printed hers out.
Oh God.
Oh, come on, Manny.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do,
I'm
Annabelle? I'm
sorry.
gonna stop this video. I'm gonna get your Diamante. Stop. I'm gonna get your Diamante and I'll read them all.